Hello students, in this module we will be doing the later part of the chapter Independence and Partition of India. In this we will start from the topic conflict between Congress and the Muslim League. Now here we see after the elections for the Constituent Assembly were held in July 1946, at that time Congress had already achieved a majority of two-third votes. So you can say out of 292 seats, it was almost around 201 seats that were won by Congress. And out of the remaining seats, that means 91 seats, it was still only 73 seats which were given to the Muslims, which were taken by the Muslim League. That is, we are talking about the Muslim seats that were even in the Muslim electorates. So even in the Muslim electorates, they lost around 5 seats and 73 were won by Muslim League. Besides that, the others were taken over by the other, you can say, independent or the smaller groups. So that is how the Congress had an overwhelming majority in the Constituent Assembly, and this was something which was a big thing for the Muslim League to be scared of, because they simply were outvoted in the assembly and they felt that whatever the decision would be taken, no particular consideration would be given to their particular demands and whatever they have to say. And it simply gave them idea that after the British withdrawal, India would rather be a transfer to the power to the Hindus. And this was something which made them feel that they really need a particular state of Muslim majority. So here we can say on September 2, 1946, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and his colleagues sworn in as the members of Viceroy Executive Council, but Muslim League kept itself out of the government. So Muslim League decided that they are not going to be into that particular government. The League, basically here we can see the League observed September 2 as a day of mourning. So you can remember this one. One is the day of deliverance and all that we did in the previous chapter, which Muslim League celebrated when Congress resigned from the ministries. Over here, when they came into power, at that time Muslim League observed 2nd September as a day of mourning, when Muslims all over the country were asked to display black flags. That is a mark of mourning as well as rebel. Though Jinnah had refused to cooperate, the Viceroy resumed all the negotiations. As a result, in October, Muslim League decided to join the interim government. And with this interim government, it was Muslim League's decision how other minority groups also came into that particular group for the safeguarding of the interests of the Muslims. However, all the League's nominees were not prepared to work under Nehru's leadership. They openly rejected the idea of collective responsibility, and finally the Constituent Assembly met in New Delhi. Here we can say in New Delhi on December 9, 1946, without the participation of League. And on this particular, over here we can say Dr. Rajendra Prasad was taken as the president, and Nehru was moved his famous resolution which declared the Assembly's resolve to make India as an independent sovereign republic. Here the concept the incident we are talking about is what you have done even in your civics chapters also, objective resolution as well as the formation of Constituent Assembly and the first session of the Constituent Assembly. If you remember, we had done this chapter earlier. So regarding that we are talking over here in history. So here we can say there is a merger in your history as well as in your civics. This particular part of history deals even with your civics, that is the lawmaking thing. Coming next to your next topic, that is Attlee's announcement. Under Attlee's announcement, we will see the interim government was not functioning properly. Why? Especially because of the differences between the Congress and the League. So these two were basically not able to work properly because they were not in you can say accordance to each other's decisions and concepts, and that is why there was always chaos. And here we can say chaos also prevailed. The communal rights were at the peak, and because of these in the country, it forced some forced by circumstances, Clement Attlee, the Prime Minister of England at that time, gave out one of the declarations or announcements, you can say, and this announcement was basically known as the Attlee's announcement. Here we see what was given by him in the announcement. The present state of uncertainty is fraught with danger and cannot be indefinitely prolonged. His Majesty's government wishes to make it clear that it is their intention to take necessary steps to effect the transference of power to responsible Indian hands. That means they want to hand over the power to the Indian hands by a date not later than June 1948. So that means they decided to hand over the power by June 1948, and it was by that time a constitution was supposed to be framed by a fully representative constituent assembly, that means by the Indians or Indian people. His Majesty's government will have to consider to whom the power of the central government in British India should be handed over on the due date, whether as a whole to some form of central government for British India, or in some areas to the existing provincial governments, or in some other way as may seem most reasonable. So because of the chaos, they decided either you make one particular party and then we transfer the power, or we will have to give it into smaller parts to the provincial governments which are still prevailing in the country. So that was something which you can say a final announcement to the Indians, that either they resolve their differences and make one government, or they should be ready to have different smaller parts of the country. So this was one of the major announcements given by Attlee, as known as the Attlee's announcement from on February 20. Remember, this particular date is very important. Attlee's announcement, February 20, 1947, which is very important date. After this, we have the next viceroy coming to India, and that was by far the last British viceroy, and it was Lord Mountbatten. In regards to Lord Mountbatten, we see that for the purpose of taking necessary steps, because there was a lot of chaos in India, and even for the transfer of the power to the Indian hands, Lord Wavell was replaced, and in place of him, Lord Mountbatten was appointed the new viceroy of India. Now, when Lord Mountbatten he came over and took over the office of Viceroy and Governor General, it was at that time for sure that India would be getting independence, and there were so many different things that India as well as British powers had to keep under consideration, so that there should not be more of the chaos and revolts. The Congress and the League, both in his executive council and in the country at large, wanted to restore peace, and Mountbatten's immediate task was to restore peace along with the two warring sections. So these two warring sections were Congress and League. Lord Mountbatten also found that it was very difficult to find a solution for this deadlock between the two major parties of India, that was Congress and League. And so he wanted to have a particular plan that should be workable and should resolve this particular problem. And as a result, the cabinet mission plan was to be made effective over here, but how to do it was a different thing. And that is why it was properly understood that this all can only happen once partition of India was done. So that means it was believed now that without partition of India, independence of India would not be easy, and even the transfer of the power will not be easy. Otherwise, there will be a lot of chaos between the two working powers of Congress and you can say Muslim League. So here Mountbatten came with his own particular solution, and this was known as the Mountbatten Plan. What was in the plan? It was partition of India, and before the big 7 leaders it was decided and kept. These were the important leaders. You can remember, if not all, at least remember 3 or 4 of them. Like you have Nehru, Patel, and remember Jinnah and Liaquat. So I guess you can remember 2 from Congress, 2 from Muslim League, Nehru, Patel, Jinnah and Liaquat. Although if you want, you can remember the names Kriplani, Nishtar and Baldev Singh. So Congress accepted the plan, and Jinnah undertook to do his utmost to make this plan work. The plan was announced on June 3, 1947. What was the main thing? On the same day, Gandhi also said, I repeat that the division of India can only do harm to the country's future. But besides that, they accepted because there was no other solution. The main points of the plan were as follows. First, it was regarding the partition, that India would be divided into two parts, and these two parts will be, obviously one is India, the other would be much demanded part by the Muslim League, and that is the Muslim state or Muslim secular state. Oh, sorry, not secular, Muslim separate state, that is Pakistan. Next, we had relations between the two new dominions. So it was totally on the Indian hands, whether these not Indian hands, these two countries, India and Pakistan, their hands, that whether these two new dominions, two new countries, it will be they deciding what relationship they would have with the British Commonwealth, and even with each other, whether they will have friendly relations, whether they'll have no relationships with each other. So that was all entirely based on their particular decisions. Next was a boundary commission would be set up, so that it would provide a proper boundary, because then it will be an international boundary. So they would provide an international boundary commission to settle the boundaries between the two dominions as whatever their decision would be. Next thing was a particular princely states. As regarding the princely states, they would be having a treaty with them, they would have all the treaties with them coming to an end. That means no more British treaties will be levied on them, will not be forced on them, and they will be free to associate themselves either with India or with Pakistan. And even they were given an option that if they don't want to be with India or Pakistan at any point, they can even make a decision that they should remain independent of these two dominions. Fifth point was about Bengal and Punjab. It was very similar to Sindh, northwest frontier, and the district of Sylhet. So the partition was given, and it provided that the legislative assemblies of two provinces would decide in the favor of partition, whether Bengal and Punjab, these were the border regions of India and newly formed Pakistan, whether they want to go in that particular new dominion or they want to stay with India. Whatever part they want, it will be decided accordingly, and accordingly the decisions will be taken. Similar thing applied to Sindh area also, and the northwestern frontier province also, which became as Pakistan later onwards, and even the Sylhet district, which was it would join either East Bengal or remain in Assam. East Bengal was basically the part given to Pakistan as today's modern day Bangladesh. Lastly, we see Constituent Assembly. The existing Constituent Assembly would continue to work. That means this particular group would continue to work, Constituent Assembly, and it would work in India, and it will not be applied to Pakistan, whatever the decision would be made. A separate Constituent Assembly would be constituted for those parts of India which decide in favor of partition. Next, we had transfer of power. So the plan was to end with a declaration that transfer of power would take place somewhere around in June, and not more than it will not take time more than June 1948. But it happened. It was decided that now it will take time. It will happen much earlier than that, and British Parliament would pass an act for the transfer of power almost before 15th of August 1947. So all these things were decided in the Mountbatten Plan, because remember, it was Attlee who decided about June 1948, but when Mountbatten came over here, he gave this decision that the independence will take much before the time given before earlier to the Indians. So acceptance of the Mountbatten Plan was done, and as we already know, it was accepted by the Congress as well as by the Muslim League, because it even talked about partition, and it even talked about a clear-cut independence of the country. So there were no other options left for Congress but partition. And on the other hand, Muslim League was also happy because they were getting their much required Muslim dominated state. So that is why both the places agreed to it. So this historic pronouncement was received with mixed feelings by the public. The nationalist explorers and the nationalists deplored the partition of India, while the Muslim League were not fully satisfied with the way Pakistan was divided. But in either case, they all accepted the plan for the partition. Now here we see All India Congress Committee accepted the Mountbatten Plan because of the following reasons, and according to Maulana Azad, the Congress had no other alternative but to accept this particular thing. The reason was for finally accepting the Mountbatten Plan are given as here, as we can say, large-scale communal riots were taking place and they would have taken entire country under their grip. So as a result, in the words of Sardar Patel, also it's given here, refusal of the demand for Pakistan will amount to dividing the country into so many Pakistans, because they had already said then we will be dividing the power or giving the power to smaller provincial governments, and that means each and every particular province would become a country or a part of a country. So that was leading to India into even more smaller countries. So that was the reason why they decided that India should remain as big as it should be, and with the help of just one partition of India, it would be even better rather than getting into so many smaller organizations and countries. The League had joined the interim government to obstruct the work and not to cooperate, and therefore experience of working with the League had convinced the Congress that in further later power when given to them, they will not be able to have a joint administration with them which will be a smooth running. So it's better to give them their own particular state, so that Muslim League does their administration in Pakistan, whereas Congress would do their administration in India. Besides that, the only alternative to Pakistan was a federation with a weak center. A smaller India with a stronger central authority was better than a bigger state with a weak center, because they knew if India would have Pakistan in it and they don't listen to it, then it would be difficult for the India to control or have a proper administration of that particular in the entire region, because of even one region not listening to the center or retaliating to the central authorities. So it was decided that a weak center with a large nation is not required, whereas it is more appropriate to have a strong center with a smaller nation. Besides that, any further continuation of British rule would mean a greater calamity for India, because in country was becoming worse and worse in regards to the economic conditions, political, social scenario, and they really wanted India to be out of the clutches of British, because otherwise the system will not be able to work properly for the betterment and for the benefit of the Indians. So they decided that India need to work hard so that they get rid of the British clutches and start working on the progress and betterment of their nation and their people. The leaders felt that further delay in India in the transfer could find India in the midst of a civil war also. That means within itself the communities will start fighting, and whether the British leave or not, India would be in the grip of the domestic war, a civil war, where people will be fighting on the basis of religion, region, and various other different such factors. So it is better to have a quick independence so that the rule can be taken over by the Indians and proper and appropriate decisions could be taken. Next we had the leaders felt that partition would rid the constitution of separate electorates and therefore other undemocratic procedures as well. So that is why it was decided that Mountbatten Plan would be accepted, and as a result Congress as well as Muslim League, they all accepted the Mountbatten Plan, and with quick you can say actions, it was later accepted and passed on. And then we move on to the next topic, and that is the Indian Independence Act of 1947, according to which according to this Mountbatten Plan, this particular act was passed. This we will be doing in detail later in the chapter, later in next module. So today for this today's module we come to the end with the explanation of Mountbatten, Lord Attlee's decision, and Mountbatten Plan and its acceptance. So go through it, read the chapter, and try to listen to this audio. I have explained you through the text itself, so you can even look into this, and along with that explanation you will be able to see the text as well. So read it, go through it, and prepare yourself for the later part of the chapter. Thank you.